Alright guys, for today's lesson we are writing linear equations using tables and graphs. It is a review day. Our objective is I will understand how to use a table and a graph to represent a linear equation. Looking at our class practice number 1, it says that Elizabeth was walking through a field and saw P caution signs. Janice was also walking through the field and saw 3 times the number of caution signs. If Janice saw U caution signs, write an equation to represent U in terms of P. So the very first step we need to do is highlight all of our key details. The first one is that Elizabeth was walking through a field and saw P caution signs, and that Janice was also walking through a field and saw 3 times the number of caution signs. And lastly, that Janice saw U caution signs. Number 2, our next step is we need to create a linear equation. So remember, we need to look at this last sentence when it says write an equation to represent U in terms of P. So since U is stated first, we write U first. So U, let me write in white. So U equals P, because P comes next. And then if she saw 3 times the number of caution signs, then we need to multiply P times 3. Remember, our coefficient always comes first. So we have 3P. Remember, our independent variable does not depend on our dependent variable. So P is our independent variable and U is our dependent variable. And I'm just going to label this on our sheet, our graph. So U is our independent variable and U is our dependent variable. All right, now we just need to plug in our graph, in our chart, the information using our linear equation. So if Elizabeth saw 3 signs, that Janice saw 3 times that number. So we need to multiply 3 times 3 and we get 9. Same thing with 4. If Elizabeth saw 4 signs, Janice saw 3 times that amount. So we need to multiply 4 times 3 and we get 12. And then lastly, Elizabeth saw 5 signs. Janice saw 3 times that amount. So we need to multiply 5 times 3. We get 15. And lastly, we have 6. If Elizabeth saw 6 signs, Janice saw 3 times that amount. So we need to multiply 6 times 3, which we get 18. So now that we have completed our graph, our chart, our table, we need to plug it into our graph. So I'm just going to label our graph right over here. And remember, this is our horizontal axis. And this one is our vertical axis. And our horizontal axis is our independent variable. So we're going to write Elizabeth. And we're going to write P. And then we have Janice. We're going to write Janice, which is U. And then we're just going to label straight across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we're going to label up by 3. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33. And then we're going to now we're just going to plot our points. So the first point we're going to plot is 3, 9. So we're going to go over to 3, go up to 9, and plot our first dot point. And then we're going to go to 4, go up to 12, and plot our second dot point. And then go to 5, go up to 15, plot our third dot point. And go to 6, go up to 18, and plot our last dot point. Moving on to class practice number 2, it says to use the completed table to create a linear equation, identify the independent and dependent variable, and fill out the graph. So first we need to look at our table over here, and we got to figure out how do we get from 9 to 1, 18 to 2, 27 to 3, and 36 to 4. 9 divided by 9 will give us 1. 18 divided by 9 will give us 2. 27 divided by 9 will give us 3, and 36 divided by 9 will give us 4. So now that we know that the perimeter is our independent variable and our length is our dependent variable, we can create our linear equation. Remember, our dependent variable always goes first when we're writing it, so it would be L equals, and then it would be W next, and then since we're dividing by 9, we need to divide by 9. Our independent variable was W, our dependent variable was L. So now that we have figured our linear equation and worked through our table, we are going to plot on our graph. So since horizontal axis is our independent variable, we're going to write perimeter. Which is W. And then our dependent variable is the vertical axis, which is L. So now I'm just going to label across. So we're going to go by 9s. So let's go 9. Skip that one. We'll do 18. Skip that one. We'll do 27. Skip that one. 36. And we'll go up by 1. So 1, 2, 3, skip 4, skip 5. All right, so the first one we're going to go over to 9, go up to 1, make our first dot point, go over to 18, go up to 2, and point our second dot point, go over to 27, up to 3, and point our third dot point, and lastly go to 36, go up to 4, and point our last dot point, and it created our straight line. And then for today's fill in the blank, you actually have to complete our escape room and find the 9-letter code that's within Miss Santana's eyes Bitmoji. When you write it in, you only need to write the letters in the order that it appears in. So you're going to need to write mystery room number 1 first, and then 2 letters, and then mystery number 2 is 2 letters, and so on and so forth. And then all the letters need to be capitalized when you go to type it into the fill in the blank, and your clues should be written all in order, or else you won't get it right.